How's it going, guys? Today we are going to talk about scapula stability. So continuing with our work on the shoulder, we saw that mobility is extremely important when we want to align everything and make sure that when we're creating some kind of tension or shooting some kind of energy, whether it's staying stable or transitioning on our hands, we need that mobility to allow us to have freedom. But on that mobility, we need stability. So the stability that our shoulders are going to be built on is our scapula. Right? So right here in our back. What do we mean by that exactly? Where if we have good scapula stability here in this kind of pushing motion here, we're not letting the shoulder joint get out of its socket, versus here if we're pushing and the shoulder is either going outside or even further through a pulling, that compromises the shoulder. That means all the energy that we're being pushed is going here in the back where our scapula is. And if our scapula is not closed off, then we're gonna have some issues. So what I mean by that is our shoulder joint is meant to stay in that joint where it's from. So our joint can move a little bit out of its packed state. I have the head of my femur that is in my joint here, and if I reach a little bit out, or if I'm being pulled passively like this and I don't resist, I put my shoulder in a compromised state. Now, if I'm just moving around or relaxing or even trying to get some mobility, it's not a big idea. But if I'm pushing or pulling, in this case I'm going to be pushing because I'm going to put my hands on the ground for relais, for aus and things like that. And if I'm not packed, if all that pressure goes out, putting my back in a compromised state, then that impingement is going to go in a place where it's not meant to be. Our shoulders are meant to be packed. Now there's a few ways to do that. One is if we squeeze something really, really hard with our hands, let's say I'm holding a friend's hand or a band and I'm pulling, the squeezing mechanism helps to radiate our reflex to pack our shoulder. So that's good and all when we're doing fitness, when we're lifting stuff or pushing and pulling. But in capoeira, we're more so on the ground. We're rarely going to grab something or someone in the game, maybe to put them on the ground or anything like that. But it won't put us in that state that we want. So another way to really help our shoulder stay packed in its joint is external rotations. So if I externally rotate, the muscles that I use are going to help to squeeze my ligaments and my bone into that joint. I'm going to be using my lats as if I'm pulling down. So if I'm on the ground in, let's say, a push-up position, I could be here without externally rotating, and I can wing out or I can flare out my scapula, which puts me at a compromised state. So if I'm trying to push to escape and my scapula or my shoulders are not packed, then all that stress goes here and I'm not effective. If I want to go here, that stress goes there. But if I externally rotate, so what I mean by that, I'm going to put my hands on the ground and torque. You can see my elbows kind of flare in, so it'll look more like a tricep push-up. By creating that external torque, those muscles are just twisting in, and it's as if I'm pinching in between my armpit, holding a piece of paper or something like that. And that torque is going to ensure the head of my humerus is in the shoulder socket. So all that energy that's on the ground here in my relais position, if I externally rotate, you can see here, I'm resting, so all the stress is here, impingement here. Externally rotate, the elbow goes in, and all of a sudden it's packed, and that energy from the ground to my shoulder will allow me to move a lot quicker and a lot better. I torque on the other side, much better versus if I loosen it up like that. So those are just little tricks to think about when we're thinking about scapula stability, or in this case, shoulder packing, to help us be a better player. Things to think about to help our little injuries that we might have at the shoulder. If you have any questions or you want to learn more, please ask, write down. And as always, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking a lot more about the shoulder as the videos come about. Thanks again, guys.